morning, it's Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the Daily Crypto Tech Review. We're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Saturday the 10th of October. Looking at Bitcoin against the US dollar, we're looking at the hourly candlesticks here. It's a relatively bullish start to the morning. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid the pivot at 11,019 to support a run at the first major resistance level, seeing it 11,186. Going to need another broad-based crypto rally for Bitcoin to break out from yesterday's high that was at 11,134. Buying extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 11,200 to pin Bitcoin back. In the event of a breakout, got the second major resistance level sitting at 11,300 to limit any upside. Fall through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 10,905 into play. Buying and extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should steer well clear of sub 10,800 levels. Second major support level sits at 10,739. Looking at the MACD, we've got a slight narrowing of the bearish histograms after yesterday's late bearish cross, but nothing to suggest a particularly bearish day ahead. More importantly, looking at the moving averages, we've got the 50 pulling away from the 100 and the 200, supportive of further upside on the day ahead. So avoiding sub 11,000 levels through the day should support a run at that first major resistance level to bring 11,300 levels into play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, it's a bullish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ethereum break out from the 38.2% fib at 367 to support a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 373.56. Going to need to see extended rally on the day for Ethereum to break out from yesterday's high 368.55 and through to 370s, however, to bring that first major resistance level into play. In the event of an extended rally on the day, resistance at 380 would likely pin Ethereum back. Second major resistance level sits at 381.75. Failure to break out through the 38.2% fib and a fall through the pivot at 360.35 would bring the first major support level sitting at 352.16 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of sub 350s. Second major support level sits at 338.95. Looking at the MACD, we've seen a sharp narrowing of the bullish histograms and a possible bearish cross at the turn of the day, suggestive of a pullback through the morning. Looking at the EMAs, however, the 50 continues to pull away from the 100 and the 200, following yesterday's bullish cross of the 100 through the 200. So, key through the early part of the day, break out through the 38.2% fib through to 370 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to break out will bring sub 360s and support levels into play on the day. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, relatively positive start to the morning. Going to need to see Litecoin avoid the pivot at 47.55 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 48.49. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break out from yesterday's high 48.22. So buying an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, resistance at 49 and the second major resistance level at 49.16 would likely come into play. Fall through the pivot, bring the first major support level sitting at 46.88 into play. Buying an extended sell-off on the day should see Litecoin steer well clear of sub 46. Second major support level sits at 45.94. Looking at the MACD, we saw a narrowing of the bullish histograms and a pinch here through late yesterday and early this morning, suggestive of an imminent move. So nothing conclusive from the MACDs. EMA, however, is pointing to a positive day ahead. 50s pulling away from the 100 and the 200, supportive of the early move north. So avoiding the pivot level at 47.55 and a move through that first major resistance level should bring 49s into play on the day. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, relatively range-bound start to the day. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP avoid a fall through the pivot at 25.27 to support a run at the first major resistance level at 25.70. Support from the broader market for Ripple breakout from yesterday's high 25.653. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, resistance at 0.26 and the second major resistance level at 0.608 should cap any upside. A fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 0.2489 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, should see Ripple's XRP steer well clear of sub 0.24s. Second major support level sits at 0.2447. That should limit any downside. Looking at the MACDs, we've got a bullish cross at the start of the day, suggestive of a move northward supporting this early upside. On the EMA, a marginal widening of the gap from the 50, from the 100 and the 200, but nothing conclusive as yet. So key through the early part of the day, avoid a fall through the pivot at 0.2527. Breakout from yesterday's high at 25653 would bring the first major resistance level and 0.26 levels into play.